Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Welcome back to Tek-Talks. Hey folks, it's Takesh. Today's video is going to be going over a Crusader PvP build. I'm pretty excited. I was not planning on making a PvP build for Crusader for quite a while, just because, as I mentioned in my last video, I was not having much success and I didn't want to paint a untruthful picture. Last night I was queuing Battlegrounds with my wife, and we were having a lot of fun, and we ended up, with her help and kind of messing with different essences, we came up with a really solid build. I went from, I think, silver 3 all the way to gold 1, and was definitely taking over games and doing really well with my free-to-play Crusader, especially with such poor stats. Anyway, so let's get started. Guys, as far as skills, you'll be using Falling Sword, Conjuration of Light, Condemn, Concentration, and Sacred Fire. Folks, I'm calling this build the Angel of Death. Another fantastic name brought to you by Takesh. Like and subscribe for more content. Let's get started with the essences. So first you're going to take the Anointed Brimstone. This helmet is really great for free-to-play players. The reason being, this helmet makes you immune to chill and freeze effects. The damage is great too, but the main thing is immunity to chill and freeze. You have almost 100% uptime based on your buff duration. And for players like myself on this character whose resistance is absolute garbage, having an immunity to freeze and chill is fantastic. If you are not running around with this helmet, you're going to be spending a lot of time in ice. Next is Akarat's Rebuke. This one goes well with Condemn. I really like this one. It visually looks awesome. It just feels good to use as well as a Crusader. The damage is really high, and its duration is pretty easy to get 100% uptime, even as free-to-play. For shoulders, you have the Wind Blessed Pauldrons. This one is increasing the duration of your Conjuration of Light by 39% and reduces the cooldown. This piece right here is really invaluable in this build. It's going to pair well with Halted Siege, and I'll explain that here in a minute. Next, you have Leggings of the Cosigner. Anyways, this one's also fantastic. You take it for two reasons. The main one is reducing the Conjuration of Light cooldown. You really want to get your Conjuration of Light cooldown down to like 19 seconds, like just about as much as a Barbarian's Undying Rage, because as free to play, you're going to try to put as much damage and tank as much damage in that window, because once that window falls off, you're probably not going to be lasting very long. Also, the shield it gives you is a nice little buff. Again, it's going to pair very well with Halted Siege. I'll explain the rhythm of this build. Next, Horn Splitter here. Nothing too much to talk about. Everyone knows what this one does. Just adding a burn effect to your auto attack, which pairs well with Torrential Refrain. The Torrential Refrain takes all of your continual damage and puts it into one hit. That's why you see a lot of Crusaders using, Misery Elixir, Everlasting Torment, Viper's Bite, Rolling Consequence. All that is getting put into a single hit when you have Torrential Refrain along with Horn Splitter. Next is Halted Siege. This is kind of the centerpiece of the entire build. This one, so Falling Sword now causes you to launch into the heavens, slamming your sword down into the targeted location, damaging and taunting all enemies within the area, while also causing them to deal reduced damage. This one, your entire play style is going to go around it. It has a really, really big circle where you hit, like the skill shot with it is very easy to hit, and it will pull everyone to you, which is really, really nice. It's also a short cooldown. As soon as I get a little more plat, I'm going to awaken it, and I think it will reduce the cooldown by an additional 10%, so that'll be really great. Last is Gallows Grin. This is great. You already have concentration. Enemies affected by concentration now take 22.8% more damage. As far as sets goes, you're going to be using a 2-piece Vithus, a 2-piece Barons for the increased duration of harmful effects, which will pair well again with Torrential Refrain, get more damage out of that, and then lastly a 4-piece mountebank. All right, let's go on to the next part. All right, folks, so here we are looking at the Paragon tree. For the Paragon, this one's kind of up in the air. people will definitely gravitate towards Gladiator, which is a fantastic way to go. You can go with Cheat Death, you can go with Uncontrollable, Juggernaut, Overpower, and Grizzled Veteran. If I was using Gladiator, those are the 5 I would use. I'll say them again: Grizzled Veteran, Overpower, Juggernaut, Uncontrollable, and Cheat Death. That being said, I'm actually staying with the Slayer though. I really like Slayer right now. The bubbles are really fantastic. So these are the ones I'm using: Hope, Safeguard, Amplified Shields, Unwavering, and then just for the little bit of extra damage, Deterioration. And then for the Legendary, I am using excuse me, sorry, the Benefactor for, again, another bubble. As you notice, just like in a lot of my builds, I really like the bubbles, and ever since Slayer came out, it's been my new favorite Paragon. So that's the Paragon I'm using. As far as familiars, get the Cat, get the Prowler. My Prowler sucks, the stats are terrible. This is free to play, so I haven't really allocated any plat, nor have I got any luck with any pets. That being said, it doesn't matter, just take a Prowler. I'm not going to go into depth with familiars, because if you're free to play watching this video, your options are, you're going to take what you get. So take the Prowler. Okay, so next is Cursed Properties. I recommend 6-piece Nettled. These Cursed Properties are really great for the counterattack damage. You'll be taking a lot of damage in this build. You're going to have a shield up, I'd say almost 100% of the time, 90% of the time, outside of the window when they're ripping it off. But you'll have a lot of benefit from using Nettle. Alright folks, here at the end, as free to play, you really want to, especially as a Crusader, you want to focus on armor. Armor. Obviously all stats are fantastic, but try to get your armor and armor pen as high as possible. Make sure you have Fortitude in every single slot, and I mean it. Like you cannot, as free to play, especially being melee, you need Fortitude in every slot. You cannot afford to not have it. I only have one rank 7 Aquamarine, and then that rank 5, and that's it. I actually don't have any more armor gems. So in order for me to get to around 3,500 armor, I have to get Fortitude in every single slot. Outside of that, willpower would be your next priority. That is a lot to ask someone though, to get Fortitude willpower in every slot, but if you can manage it, that'd be fantastic. The reason you want willpower is it boosts potency and resistance the same way armor, or the same way Fortitude does armor and armor penetration. Potency is going to increase your damage from the torrential refrain, and resistance will get you out of CC, although you won't be spending a lot of time in CC with this build, just because of the way the essences synergize with each other. Alright folks, so let's go over the playstyle. The playstyle is actually really important. If you're playing the build wrong, it's not going to make sense. You're going to say this is a terrible build, like it's not working. So the entire build, like I said, is centered around Falling Sword and its window. So Falling Sword, as you can see, it has a really big window, and it will pull everyone to. And by pull, I mean like it taunts them. It's fantastic when you have like wizards and demon hunters in the back, and they're just laying down fire. You can jump on them from a pretty far distance, and it will pull all of them to you. Once you do that, activate your damage abilities and go ham on them. Also, it's a really great way to just enter combat, especially if you're like on a one of the towers, or you're pushing an idol and you see a bunch of melee drop right on top of them. All of them get taunted. They're only auto attacking you. They're not using their abilities, and it reduces the damage they deal to you by 30%. So the reason I say it's important you play it correctly, you want to enter combat only with Falling Sword. You do not want to run into combat without it. And the reason being is because that is also going to be your escape. And if you look at the window, or how long Conjuration of Light lasts, the window is that as long as it lasts as Falling Sword. So for instance, if I know I'm going to be going into battle, I see an idol being hit, I'll jump into that idol right away. I'll have like 4 or 5 guys on me, and I have Conjuration of Light. If you look at Conjuration of Light and Falling Sword, the Conjuration of Light, if you just notice right there, falls off right as Falling Sword comes off cooldown. So most of you free to players know that as soon as that Conjuration of Light window is gone, you are gone. You're not going to last but a second or two in there. So right when that Conjuration of Light is falling off, you will then use Falling Sword to get out and keep yourself alive. You'll see that I will enter combat with the sword, Conjuration of Light. I will hold for 7 seconds, which is a preposterous amount of time for a free-to-play player to be in melee combat. And then I will get out right as Conjuration of Light is falling off. I will use Falling Sword to get out of combat. So once you understand that rhythm, you'll be able to stay in combat for quite a while and get in and out you'll be able to land a lot of kills, and you won't have a super high death rate. As soon as I get a little bit more platinum, I will be awakening the Halted Siege, and that will give me that'll probably give me like a second more window on getting in and out of combat. So again, you dive in with Falling Sword. You're going to use Conjuration of Light. Because of the duration, all the buffs you have, it's going to last for almost the entire time of Falling Sword. And then once it falls out, you Falling Sword out of combat. And then you just wait. You only got to wait, about 9-10 seconds before Conjuration of Light is back off cooldown. And then you rinse and repeat, dive back in, Conjuration of Light, go hard for 7 seconds, slap everyone. Conjuration of Light is about to fall off. You're not going to make it. Time to get out. Conjuration. Obviously, it's not going to be that perfect every time. If they have a barbarian that rips your buff off, well, you're SOL. Sorry, I don't have an answer for that. If they're landing really hard CC, obviously it's going to be pretty hard to get out of there. That being said, I'd say like 90% of the time, you're going to be just fine. And you'll see in the battlegrounds. Anyways, folks, let's switch over to the battleground commentary. All right, folks, here we are in battleground. You'll see I'm using Falling Sword to initiate. I saw quite a few melee popped up. Conjuration of Light to take all the damage. As Conjuration of Light falls off, Falling Sword is off cooldown, and I use it as an escape. And this is the rhythm I was speaking about earlier in the video. You'll just be rinse and repeating. Again, Falling Sword to enter combat, dealing damage. I didn't feel the need to use Conjuration of Light, so I saved it there. Again, Falling Sword to enter combat, and that's it. That's the rhythm. Rinse and repeat. Conjuration of Light when you land, if you're taking a lot of damage, and then save Falling Sword as an escape. Here again, entering combat, using Conjuration of Light, and then I'm saving Falling Sword to escape, and there's my escape, and I'm out. You become very, very difficult to kill once you understand this rhythm. It's really, really nice. You'll be able to land a lot of kills, especially in the back lines, and you'll be able to get out without dying. Once you start fighting, if they have a barbarian that can rip your buff off, or if they have a really hard CC with your resistance being low, you are going to get caught. It's going to happen inevitably because our stats are so low, but you can definitely get a lot of mileage out of it in these battlegrounds. Anyways, folks, I'll quit yapping. I'll let the battleground finish. I hope this build helps you guys out a lot, especially free-to-play players. And that's it. Have a good one.